Namaste everyone. In today's video, I wanted to share with you how to telepathically communicate with someone that you know or you don't know. But this whole topic might be weird for you, but I'm sure most of us have heard of telepathy. Just recently, this happened to me where I was thinking about someone that I haven't spoken to probably, I don't know, more than 5 years. Someone I knew from high school, and she was actually like a mentor for me. And I stopped, life got busy. We got out of touch. And I actually remembered her all of a sudden, like out of the blue. I don't even know how the thought came. And I was like, oh yeah, I should reach out to this person. I didn't even know if the phone number was the same or not. Like, that's how crazy it is. But I was like, I thought about this person and I was thankful for that person to be in my life in that time. And I was like, okay, I should reach out to this person and see if they, how they are doing, and if it's the same phone number and all that. But I got busy with work and I totally forgot about it. But you won't believe it. Within 2 days, she messaged me. And I was like, what are the chances? Out of this, it's been more than 5 years. I can't even imagine like the last time. I can't even remember the last time I spoke to her. And she reached out to me and I was like, how is this possible? Like, I just thought about you. I could have thought about you a week ago and, or a month ago or a year ago, but I just thought about you and you're messaging me within 2 days. So it was phenomenal. Anyways, but you probably have similar experience like this. You might not call it telepathy. You might just think it's coincident, but whatever the case is, I thought, let me share some knowledge I learned about telepathical communication and how you can do that. My name is Priya. I'm very passionate about sharing positivity and empowering people to live their life to their fullest potential. We're all creators. We are divine beings. So let's make our life the most beautiful possible together. So let's dive in. Today's topic is a little bit weird for some people. Telepathy, you might not call it telepathy, but you probably are familiar with what that is. But basically, it's being able to communicate with someone without actually using physical forms. It's more like energetical. You can call it mind or energy, whatever it is. But it's being able to communicate with someone anywhere in this world. So there's one aspect that I always think about when I talk about this, so I wanted to share that with you as well. Sometimes you feel like, are you interfering with someone's energy when you're talking about telepathy? So I definitely wouldn't want to interfere with anyone's energy, but if you think about it, we're all one. We're co-creators. So for example, you go to a restaurant with a friend of yours. Sometimes, most likely, your friend will convince you to try a specific food. So let's say pasta or pizza, whatever it is. And then you try to, even though you wanted something else, then you somehow get convinced to eat that. Is that interfering? Technically it is. But then it's the stronger one that kind of wins. And it's not that you're weak that you lose, but you're like, okay, you kind of give in because you're like, okay, let's try this out. My friend is saying yes. So this is kind of similar to that, where if you're strong, if you're so strong about what you believe in and you don't want to interfere in somebody else's business, you're so focused on what you want, then sometimes you won't get interfered even if somebody else is trying to telepathically communicate with you. So it might work for you, it might not. It's totally based on both of your energies as well. So I wanted to let you know about this before I dive in. So how do you actually do telepathical communication? A lot of people talk about telepathy, but most of them don't do it consciously. So when you don't do it consciously, it could work, it could not work, you don't know. It could be, you can call it coincident when things happen. But when you do it consciously, then you have to know that if it works, then it was that. And it's a great way to test things out. So the one way I learned to do it consciously is, first of all, do things in your third eye dimension, because in that dimension, you're in a different dimension, not just in the physical world. So the best way to get out of that physical world and be able to communicate telepathically, because telepathy is not physical, so therefore you should be in the other dimension to be able to communicate clearly. So how do you first do that? Is first breathe in and breathe out. Using your breath is the best way to calm your mind, because when you're in your mind, then you're in the physical world, because your mind is in the physical world. But when you are totally calm, you calm yourself with your breathing, then it's easy for you to get out of that physical world and get into the other dimension. So you can take a few deep breaths. It doesn't need to be exaggerated. You can just take normal breath. So take a deep breath in with me. And then exhale gently. It doesn't need to be so powerful or forceful, but the minute you start focusing on your breathing, you're actually more tuned into yourself more than anything. So once you start calming yourself down, do this for a couple of minutes until you feel totally calm. You're totally out of that mind world. So you're totally tuned into yourself. Then what you need to do is create a visualization in your third eye. So in your third eye, imagine a light. In my previous video, I shared about how to do visualization, especially using light. So you can view that if you want. But basically what you do is imagine a light near your third eye, and imagine it bright, okay? And you can think, oh, it's mind, it's not actually happening. The minute you think it's the mind, then you can't really get into the meditations or the energy world, because then you're controlled by your mind. So you kind of have to learn to let go, surrender to the energy. So once you start seeing the light in your third eye, and you can start practicing by visualizing. And if it's not instant for you, you can start by visualizing. Once you start seeing the light, imagine it getting bigger. Okay, so close your eyes, imagine it getting bigger. Once you start seeing this bright light, put yourself into that light. So walk into that light and keep closing your eyes so you don't get distraction. Okay, so once you close your eyes and imagine that light, put yourself into that light. You're walking into the light. When you walk into the light, everything around you is bright. It's fully white and bright. You're just surrounded by this light. The minute you're in there, then you bring that person you want to communicate with into that energy. Bring them closer to you. So imagine that person that you want to communicate with. Especially if you know them, it's easier because you know exactly how they are, you know how their energy is, you know how they'll react to things. So you know how they feel. So you bring them in and just observe that energy, feel their energies, and see how you feel when you see them as well. So in that moment, then you actually have to communicate exactly what you want. So if it's a message that you wanted to send, or any sort of message that you want to pass this to this person, say that repeatedly. Okay, so if it's something, forgiveness that you're asking, so then just be like, I'm sorry, or whatever it is that you want to apologize for, just apologize repeatedly. Say that, keep saying that message repeatedly. Once you do that, then you take a deep breath in and deep breath out. Once you're exhaling, you bring yourself back to yourself. Okay, so you come out of that light and you come to the physical world and do some breathing again. So that's one way to do some communication telepathically. Again, yeah, you can say we are interfering with somebody's energy, but at the end of the day, we're technically influencing one another's opinions and their life in certain way in our everyday life. So it's not like you're doing anything harmful. You're just trying to pass a message to them. So do what feels right for you, but this is just one method. Try practicing this and see if you see any message back from this person in the physical world, because this is the way telepathy works. So test it out for yourself. I'm gonna test it out myself as well, especially after I just experienced that story I told you earlier. I definitely want to test this out. But this is a great way to pass messages, especially if you don't have contact with them. It's a great way to kind of send your message to them energetically. I feel they will receive it, but you test it out and you write down in the comments below if you have experienced something similar to this. I hope this video was helpful for you, or at least entertaining. If you're new to my channel, please subscribe and click the notification button, because I'm very determined to creating weekly videos for you to empower you to live your life to their fullest potential, the best version of you. Until then, namaste.